Master Duel has announced its first real event for 2025, and we have it starting in just about 2 days as of me posting this video. It is the Theme Chronicle event that is essentially based on solo mode, is what they say in the event info, but that doesn't really give you too many details, and you're not really going to know what's good for this event since there are a number of banned cards that would make some solo decks okay, but now that they're just not playable because, you know, they banned the cards that would have been good in them. So for example, you can see if you go to create a deck for this mode and you search something that is not even in a solo mode archetype, but like Marincess, normally a great budget option for these events, seems like it would be good, but if you actually scroll down to Forbidden, you can see how the deck has been limited. All of your boss monsters are not available to be played in this deck, which means you're going to be relying on something like a Marincess Marbled Rock. That being said, I'm going to outline for you what is going to be, in my opinion, the clear winner and most dominant deck for this event. So let's go ahead and get into that now. So in this video, I'm going to cover 3 different plant variations that you could play for this event. What I'm going to say is a budget Rikka version, which I think is definitely worth making if you want to play what is essentially the best deck in the event. One is going to be a Sunseed Ragnaraika Aroma deck, which is pretty expensive if you don't already have these cards, but it's really, really fun to play. And then one is just a full-blown 60 card, like full-on plant monster. So let's start with the budget deck. And it's crazy to me that none of these cards are really limited. Like, we're on the event regulation right now, and you can see like plants is basically like full power. There's nothing really that's banned that would limit this deck except for the bamboo cactus bouncer. Bamboo shoot is actually legal, so you could set up or go into bamboo shoot with the Camilla, and you can get access to that engine very consistently with the Jasmine. I've already posted a video on how you can lock your opponent out. Regardless though, in this budget Rikka deck, we're not going to play that. The entire engine in the main deck is common, rare, and super, and even the supers, like you get Concons from solo mode, which is pretty nice, and you get unexpected dies from solo mode, so you don't even need to craft those. The only real super rares that you craft in the main deck are going to be Rikka Glamour, assuming that, you know, you're not going to open packs for them. So you get this in a pack where you can just craft 3 of these supers and then just 2 Mudons. I mean, technically you can craft a Lone Fire Blossom as well, so maybe it's 6 main deck super rares that you craft. The ultra rares in this deck are all just generic staples. Infect Veiler, Ash Blossom. I'm opting to play Storm and Duster. 1-for-1, you can argue, is a card that you might want to craft, but you can, you know, cut this. It's just an additional starter for your deck, so I do recommend that you have this. It's good for many decks, obviously. And then, yeah, Call By, Cross Out, Imperms. You know, again, just staple cards. Aside from that, you know, Triple Loci, common. Triple Petal, common. Twin, you know, common. Primula, which you can probably just one run of, also just common. Triple Princess, it's a free special summon. 1 Snowdrop, just rares. And then double Sunbind Sewing in case you hard draw 1. You can probably just search the other one. And this is just a rare as well. And then I'm opting for 1 Rikka Tranquility, which is not a card you normally play, but it's decent as well. Because again, there's a lot of other decks in this format that are just not in the format. So you can use this card as additional ways to tribute your opponent's field with Concon, which is crazy. And then you get 2 bodies as a result of it. And then Rikka Sheet, which is also just a common or normal as well. As far as what ultra rares you're going to need to craft, it's going to come into play in the extra deck. I say at least 1 Strenna. I don't think you necessarily need the Teardrop, although you could craft this. At least 1 Jasmine as well. So out of the Teardrop, the Melias, and the second Jasmine, I would say you don't necessarily need those. And for a deck like this, I would say crafting 2 ultra rares to have what is essentially the best deck for this event, to get, like, 3,300 gems, which is going to give you 30 packs for Fiendsmith when they come out probably next month. I would say that's probably worth it. But yeah, don't build this deck unless you're going to craft a Strenna and at least 1 Jasmine. And if you have the opportunity to open 10 packs and maybe pull a Teardrop or a Strenna off of that, that's even better. And again, if you can get the second Jasmine and the Melias, it's also really good. So the extra deck is 1 Strenna, 1 Aurea, which you don't necessarily need to play, but it's just another target for the Strenna. 1 Teardrop, 1 Sacred Tree Beast, which is again just a really powerful negate, which is really, this event is really starved for negates. So having the ability to negate with like Princess and with Sacred Tree Beast, and then continue to interrupt your opponent's field by non-target tribute with Concon, or targeting tribute with I guess Teardrop here, is really, really strong. But yeah, a number of different cards to tribute with. So, you can just mop up your opponent's field very easily. Even things like Avermax can get outed by the Concon tribute, which is really strong. when they make it with like IP, let's say, so it's untargetable and indestructible. Triple Dryas, double healer, because again you can go into Jasmine, have the Loci and the Sunseed Twin on board still, and then relink into a second copy of Dryas, a second copy of healer to trigger the Jasmine. That's pretty strong. One Thrasher if you're playing the Malias package, because this comes in, will be over 3,000 attack, I believe, if it targets the Malias. And then you can link Malias off for the Benji here, which again is just a great interruption. And then you have plant access code, because as you can see here, access code is actually banned for this event, so you can still get a 5,000 attack monster in the Cosmic Tree Ermistil. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. But yeah, this thing can even go to 8,000. If you make this turn 1, you gain life, right, every time your opponent special summons on their turn, so they're like turn 2 of the duel. And then if they pass it back to you and they don't out this, you pay another 3,000, and then it becomes an 8,000 attack monster, which is just an instant game if you can clear the opponent's board. So yeah, very, very powerful deck, very budget friendly in my opinion, and definitely worth playing. It is very fun to play Rikka. So as you can tell, I do have all the Rikka cards, but what's even more fun with plants, in my opinion, is the Ragnaraika engine with the new Aroma cards. Unfortunately, this is all ultra rare, like the triple Rosalina, the triple Evil Seed, and even the extra deck monsters in the Rosemary is ultra rare. I mean, the Magnolia is just a super, which is great, but yeah, this is going to require more of an investment. But this engine is also just like very powerful and broken. Like in regular ladder, this deck is really good too. And even if you switch it over to the event theme, you can see that, yeah, Maxi, sure, that actually helps us that it's banned. And then the Cactus Bouncer for no floodgates. And then the deck is still at full power. Like, it's actually crazy. The only things that check you as a plant deck is going to be Nibiru, which I don't even know if people are going to be really on this. The loner decks I don't think are even on this. So you really only play this. I mean, I'm playing one of it as a target for cross-out, but also it's could be okay to draw as a hand trap. But most decks in this event I don't anticipate will be like Nibiru-able. Like, Nibiru won't do anything against most decks. It does work against plants, but that's about it. And then the only other hand trap that really stops you, because you can play through Veilers and Ashes and stuff pretty well with plants because it prints so many bodies, is obviously with like Konami making an event, they want to promote their new cards. So Fuelos and Perulia are going to be legal for this event. So no Max C, but your opponent might be playing the Mulcharmies, and this is another card that could stop you. So I mean, you could play these yourself and still just say like, yeah, I'm playing the Maxi minigame, or now the Mulcharmy minigame. Do I draw Ash and or Call By and Cross Out in order to deal with the Mulcharmy? But other than that, yeah, there's nothing else that's going to slow you down here. But yeah, this deck is extremely powerful. The Sunseed engine prints 4 bodies. The Ragnaraika engine will print what is essentially 4 bodies as well. It's really, really strong. So again, playing through multiple hand traps is no problem. And this one, I've opted for triple Loci, 2 Angelica, 2 Laurel, triple Rosalina, triple Evil Seed, 1 Jasmine, which you don't necessarily need to play. If you were playing this version, since you cut the max Cs and stuff, it's probably worth, if you're playing the Jasmine here for the additional normal summon, to play the Naturia package, which is going to consist of the Camilla that you're going to use as a tribute for the limited to 1 for some reason, but not banned, like Cactus Bouncer is, Bamboo Shoot, which basically means your opponent can't activate any spells or traps. So if you're able to deal with their board with like the monsters, which you can do with this deck, they just can't do anything. And so some of the interruptions you could put up to protect the Bamboo Shoot without playing the Rikka cards, which would probably be better with the Bamboo Shoot since you contribute their field, would be the Sweet Marjoram, which on life point gain will pop a card on the field, and the Benji, which is a return a monster on the field to the hand. So yeah, you could have 2 disruptions to stop your opponent from outing this card with a monster, whether that be like attacking over it or, you know, dealing with it by activating a monster effect. And you can lock your opponent out of spells and traps, which probably eliminates like half their hand, if not more, which is going to be just instant win basically in this event. So you could play that package. But anyways, carrying on, 1 Lone Fire Blossom. Again, you can play Rose Whip instead too, so you probably cut this if you want to go the Bamboo Shoot route. But this limiting your opponent to 1 spell or trap, also pretty good. Triple Ash Blossom. The Ragnaraika engine is just the Evil Seeds plus 1 Beetle and 1 Wicked Butterfly. And then 1 regular Marjoram to use with the Rosalina. Like, Rosalina summoning itself will pull out the Marjoram, which is an instant Synchro 6 into Sweet Marjoram. Like, that's what the new support does. It's pretty powerful. 1 Nibiru, 1 Duster, 1 1-for-1. Again, you don't necessarily need to play Duster in Heavy Storm. It's just that, you know, back row decks can be a little problematic for plants, but most of the good back row decks are all banned or like severely hampered to the point where they're not going to be played, like Labyrinth and Trap Tricks, for example. Triple Unexpected Die to get out the Loci, just like with the budget Rikka deck. Double Sunbind Sowing, 1 Aroma Blend, 1 Ragnaraika Bloom, double Called By, 1 Cross Out, triple Imperm, and then 1 Humid Winds and 1 Blessed Winds. And these cards are just like insane in the grind game because they will recycle and or search out targets for you and gain you life to trigger like multiple effects. The extra deck is 1 Magnolia, which you fusion summon by banishing the Aroma Blend while your life points are higher than your opponent, so that you can banish from graveyard to fusion summon this, which again is just a free body at that point. And the Aroma Blend is what you search off of the Rosemary like 100% of the time basically. 1 Sweet Marjoram, so again another ultra rare here. Double Dryas, 1 Healer, 1 Thrasher. Triple Jasmine, which is probably overkill. You probably only need 2. You can't play SP because it's banned, so you can just fill that out with like any Ragnaraika card, for example. That, again, you have to be careful because you are limited to plants when you use Rosalina. So if you're looking at the Ragnaraika cards, you know, Reptile and stuff can't be summoned. So you'd want to go into this early. But again, pure Ragnaraika is also an option because this deck is also pretty good in my opinion. 1 Melias, 1 Rosemary, 1 Benji, and 1 Cosmic Tree. So again, pretty powerful deck. I played, like I said, this on regular ladder without the Rikka cards, and it is really strong. It definitely FTKs going second, and you have multiple ways to clear your opponent's board in the Rosemary and the Magnolia. And then turn 1 disruptions, like I said, could be like the Sweet Marjoram, the Benji. It's pretty strong and can be very difficult to interact with and to out. So that is another option. And the final deck I'll take a look at for plants is basically everything combined into one, which is probably the strongest iteration here. So again, this is just a regular ladder deck. You switch it over to the event, you take out the Max C's, and I guess in this case you don't play the Therion Negate engine, so we take out the Disc Coliseum as well, and you take out the Cactus Bouncer, and you're left with what is essentially full power plants, right? I don't know how they don't nerf this deck at all for this event. It's actually crazy. You have so many ways to print so many bodies and set up so many interruptions with this kind of version, because you and I would say again, in this version you probably play the Naturia package because you have multiple ways to protect it. So it's 1 Sacred Tree, 1 Bamboo Shoot, which again is some more super rare investments, and 1 Camilla. And you know, you have the Rikka cards to protect with the Con against your opponent beating over this or dealing with this with monster effects, and as long as this is on the field, they can't activate spells or traps. They can't even imperm this, right? Like they can't activate anything. They have to use a monster effect to out this somehow, and if you're stopping all their monsters by tributing them, like you just FTK them on turn 1. You don't even need Cactus Bouncer, because again, the amount of cards that are in this event, right? Like every deck is nerfed except for plants apparently, so it's absolutely crazy. So yeah, you just combine the 2 deck profiles I just reviewed in this video earlier into this, and you basically have like an insanely powerful engine and deck. So yeah, that's my pick for what is going to be the best deck in the event. You can play a budget version, you can play a very powerful fun version, or you can play a combination of both of them, and yeah, just instantly get through the event winning. If you watch my videos, like I somehow get through these events winning like sometimes like 90% of my matches. It's absolutely crazy because these deck choices are so OP for the event. It's like there's nothing I can see that comes even as a close second. Like it's insane. But anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, Quantum is out.